Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to paint this sea lion in gouache. At the first it wasn't my idea to paint this sketch, it was just a sketch. But ended up that I like a lot this sketch and I was thinking how it would look in as a painting. And because I start to use gouache and I like a lot gouache, I try with gouache to see how it's going to look. So I start first doing the background. The photo that I'm using here is from Unsplash, and the background was a little bit out of focus, but it's a beautiful water, and I try to reproduce this with the colors. So what I'm using to start is a very light color, light green, and I'm going to put some different tones so we can mimic the ocean, like very clear water. Because the gouache is very easy to blend, I start to put some specific colors, very separated, and then after I put the colors I'm going to blend them, and they're going to look even and nice blend. So I don't have to worry about to blend in the time that I put the colors. So I can go very slow and put the colors that I want, and then I blend everything, and it's very easy to use, easier than if I'm going to do something in acrylics. And when you do the water, you don't have to worry about that everything that don't have to be blended, because there is difference between very marked difference between colors that you can see in the ocean. So just look your reference photo and try to reproduce the colors that you see there. Don't worry about the shapes, don't worry about if it look like water or not, because in the end the result is going to look like. You don't have to be afraid to do and try and look weird, because it's not going to look weird. Just reproduce what we see, and you don't have to be perfect too. You don't have to reproduce exactly the way is there in the photo. It's just the photo is just a reference. It's just to have an idea how the water is looking. That's all. So now I start with the animal. I'm doing the dark places first, the shadows. I'm using here burnt umber and black, a little bit of burnt sienna too. So I look into the reference photo and I can see a lot of different colors there. There is like a little bit purple and like I'm doing here, and some browns and some grays because the reflection of the water. So you have to look at every small space and see what color you can see there, because always you can see always more colors than you think. Don't look the whole thing, don't look the entire animal, just look one spot and try to figure out what color is that, you know. And it can be like blue, it can be purple, it can be gray, yellow. It depends of the what is around, because the animal is wet, it's going to reflect a lot what's around. So you have to don't just try to do something that you think that is this animal is brown, and then you're going to paint everything brown. You know, don't think that is what you think. Look and see and make sure that you are looking and see what is there, what's the real color there. So for this, you can see that the brush that I use is really small, because the painting is small and I want to do a lot of details. So I have to use a very small pointed brush. This one is Princeton Velvet Touch. It's a very small, very easy to use, and you can see I can do a lot of details with it. The good part of using gouache, it's that is very easy to put layers. So you don't have to worry about when you are painting if it's not looking the way you want. It's very easy to put another layer on top. And if you don't put too much water, you're not even going to disturb the layers more. Uh, the layers that's in the base. You don't have to worry about it. Gouache is a very nice, very wonderful media to work with because you don't have to worry about the paintings drying or you're going to lose the paint or um, not going to blend. So it's a lot of good things about gouache. It's like a mixture between oils and acrylics, but it's better. It's just because it's easy to set up and you don't have to, you don't need much things like oils that you need a lot of mediums and everything, and it's difficult to clean the brush. And gouache is easy to use, you can carry with you wherever you go, and it's very nice to paint. So as you can see here, I'm doing a lot of details. I hope you guys can see. And I put some colors and then I start to blend a little bit. And it's very easy to do with gouache because it flows really nicely. The painting is like it's a water basis, so it flows really, really nicely. The brush that I use basically is the very small ones. I think just for the background I use my kind of dagger that I have by my side, you can see there. And the rest I did most part with a little very small brush. I like to do small paintings. I already say that, you guys heard that, because it's easy for me to do different paintings, and they make me very happy to do one paint every day. And small paintings allow me to do a new one every day and make me very happy to see the results that I can achieve, things that sometimes you think you can't, you know. And what I can say for you guys, now see there, I just make a little mistake, but it's very easy to fix the mistakes, so you don't have to worry about. I'm doing a little dark color, but I ended up that I don't like it, and then I blend it, and it's looking very nice. So it's very easy to work, very easy. So my suggestion for you guys is do small paintings. Don't be afraid to do small. It is very good to learn. It's very good to know the media, because you do very small paintings very fast, and you can do one per day, and it help you a lot, because it's very important you know the media that you work with. More you know your media, the easier and the fast you're going to paint, because when you start to paint, you already know what oh, I'm sorry, I have my head in the it's just the front. When you know your media, you know exactly what the color is going to react, what colors mix with other colors going to look like, and it's going to make you paint every time faster and faster. And when you look the photo, you start to already know what color you're going to mix, you know. And usually when I'm going to paint something, and it's very true, I don't see it, I don't choose a photo like in 5 minutes and start to paint. It's not working like this for me. Usually I look the photo for a couple hours and sometimes more than that, sometimes a couple days. I look to the photo and I paint the photo in my mind. I look all the colors that I have there and I make like a plan in my head, how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to start it, what colors I'm going to put first, with mix with what, you know, and I just look all the colors that is there and start to think about the colors, what mixture is each color. I think that's why I like so much watercolors, because I always do my plan first, so I don't have much trouble with watercolor because I know exactly what I'm going to do, and it works for all kind of media. So work for watercolor, for gouache, acrylics, colored pencil, any kind of media. So slowly I put the base colors. The base colors usually is the colors that you see the most in that region. But if you pay attention the way I paint, you can see that it's a lot of different colors. It's not one plain color. I don't put like all brown and then I can start to put other colors around, because that is going to be difficult for you to put other colors because brown is too dark. So what I do is just put one little bit colors in each spot, the colors that you see there, because there is like hundreds of different colors and mixtures that you have to do to achieve the colors that is in the photo. So in this case, I took, in real time, I took 2 hours and a half to do this very small painting. And it happens because it's something that you have to do very slow. You cannot just throw a lot the colors there. You have to do slow, because you have to see, if you want like a really, really realistic painting, you have to see every little detail. So you have to put a lot of layers. And when I say a lot of layers, I mean that you is not just the basic layer, so it's one layer on top of the other, because the more layers you put, more realistic, more nice the colors going to look. So it's necessary to put a lot of layers. To help you guys to have more understanding about color mixtures and colors that you use in your paintings, so it's going to be fast for you to decide what mixtures you have to do, I suggest you to do not just the color swatches, but some charts, some mixtures charts. And at least you should do your painting like the one color with a little bit white and then with a little of black, so you can see how the colors look if it's mixtures with white and if it's mixtures with black. And then you have like the shadows or the highlights, and it just this little detail, this chart helps you so much. You can see a lot of possibilities of the mixtures that you can do with your colors. The another kind of chart that I use to make, and I make one and it helps me with all kind of medias, is I put all colors and I mixture all colors together, not at the same time of course, but each two colors I was mixing, and then I can see so many different like browns that I never thought that some colors mixtures going to make browns, or some other colors make a beautiful green. that I never have thought before. So I suggest you guys to play with your colors, play with your media, even before you do some work. Try to understand the mixtures, the colors, and then after that you just keep your chart, and at the first you're going to use a lot. Every time you're going to paint, you're going to get your chart to see what colors get more the way you want, and then after a while it's going to be so natural for you to mix the colors that you don't have to think about anymore. When you see the colors in the photo, you already in your mind, you already know exactly what kind of color you're going to use. But it's just come with practice. You have to do the first the chart, so you understand the colors, and then after you use a while, it's a practice. You're going to be natural for you to in your mind already know what color you're going to use, and then you don't have to think about it. It is just, you just go straight to the colors that you have to use. So that's one thing that's very important for if you're started, or even if you're already painting, but you are always worry about what kind of colors, what kind of mixtures I have to do, that you always get confused or scared that I don't know what color do, I don't know what color mix, and is help a lot. It's a very interesting thing to do. So you see there that I just make a little mistake, and I very easily take it off with a wet brush. I take it off the colors, and after that I just I lift it off the colors, and I just mix with a little bit with water, and then it just cover all the place that I was wrong, and worked very well. So here I'm just start to put, as you can see, I put like a very small spot, so it's going to cover like slightly without mess with the layers, under layers. So I use very light touch, so I don't disturb the layers that it was already there. I just put something on top, and it helps a lot. You see that I did the same thing over there, and it's very easy to fix. So you can see that layers, we're going to put the colors, and then mixtures in every color that you're going to put there, going to make the object more, the subject more three-dimensional, more realistic. The thing is, you don't have to um, guess what color is there, or what are you going to do to make the reflection. You have just to pay attention in your reference photo. That's the more important thing that you have to do. Pay attention in your reference photo. Don't try to do everything sorry, in the same color. You have to always mix a lot of colors, that you have to remember that you have to mix a lot of colors to make it more close as possible as your reference. And don't worry about to use maybe a wrong color, because it's very easy. You can see that I put a lot of layers, so it's very easy to fix if the color is not perfect. You just change your mixture and put more dark or more light, depending on what you're going to use. So I think that and it's a real thing for me, that I a lot of times I'm afraid to fail, to don't do the exactly, don't look as beautiful and perfect that I want. and it sometimes prevents me to do it. Sometimes before I start to doing something, believe me, all the time, it happens a lot. Before I start to doing something, I look at it, and I always come to my mind, I don't know if I'm able to do this, if I can do it. It's too complicated, it's too difficult. But I don't let these thinkings dominate my head, and you know, and impede me to start doing something. I have to, even if I'm afraid to fail, even if I don't know exactly, I never did this, and I don't know if it's going to look good. That's why you paint. You have to practice, you know, and you don't have to. You don't allow these kind of thinkings that disturb you and prevent you to do something. You know, so I think it's the worst enemy uh, for an artist is the fear. You don't have to be afraid to do things. You don't have to just stop doing or don't even try because you're afraid to fail. It's part of the learning process. You can sometimes cannot look the way you want, but you always can fix it. If you cannot fix it, it's okay. You learn something and then you have the opportunity to do better next time. But if you never do anything, so you're never going to learn, and you're always going to want to do something, but you're going to be like stuck because you don't want to try. And I'm a kind of perfectionist person, and it's sometimes it's not something good because I'm always want to do better. I want to do more perfect, but it's a lot of times I look my work when I finish and I don't even like it. I don't like it because it's not the way that I envision. Sometimes I want more perfect, more realistic. But after like one day or two, and I look again, I start to like it a lot. So it happens. So don't worry about. You have to just keep doing and believe in yourself. And if you don't like what you do, just left your work for like a day or two, and then when you look again, you're going to see that it's much better than you thought. So you can see that I use very little brush strokes, so I can cover the parts that I want without disturbing the other layer, like I said before. And it worked very well. I like this large brush for like areas a little bit larger because it help to cover faster. And because it's like a dagger, I can use the tip of the brush to do strokes like little hairs. And when I want to use more for larger areas, I just twist the brush and I use the flat part. So this kind of brush is really interesting. I'd like a lot to use it because gouache is kind of watercolor, but it's more opaque, right? When it dries, it changes a little bit the colors. Some colors get lighter, like I'm trying to do the shadows, and I put a lot of already like 2 or 3 layers, and because when it dries, it changes the colors. You have to add more layers if you want a very dark shadow. So it's okay. It's interesting because help you to don't put too much dark. It in fact help you to achieve the results that you want. So it's a nice thing. It's not bad. It's not bad. You just have to be patient and come back some places more times that you expect. Usually it don't happen with acrylics because acrylics is very, the colors usually get darker when it dries, so you don't have this kind of problems. But with watercolors, the same thing. You have to come back several times and put more layers so you can achieve the as dark as you want. The colors that you can see here, it's lost because uh, the video lost a lot of the real colors. It get more washed out. But the photo that I show you later, you can see that it's darker and more realistic. That it's really looky. Now I'm doing the whiskers. I just reproduced what I was seeing there, so you don't have to just throw some whiskers anywhere, everywhere. You just reproduce the way it's there. So it's white in the one side and then it's like dark in the other side. So I'm just doing here some adjustment in the colors and it's done. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.